Shakina Ghanna, the wife of 90-Day Fiancé star Sarper Güven, has suffered a heart attack and is currently in very critical condition. She has been admitted to a hospital in Istanbul, where doctors are working around the clock to save her life. Right now, she is fighting for survival. Just hours ago, what began as a normal day turned into a nightmare. Shekinah suffered a sudden and catastrophic medical emergency. She had a heart attack and collapsed in her home. As of this moment, she is lying in a hospital bed in critical condition. Sources close to the couple say the situation is extremely serious. At her side is Sarper, a man known for control and confidence, now completely broken by how fast everything changed. He is watching the woman he loves fight for her life, unable to do anything but wait. To understand how devastating this moment is, it helps to understand who Shekinah is and the life she built before Sarper. Before meeting him, Shekinah was the definition of a self-made American woman. At 41 years old, she was a successful esthetician in Los Angeles and co-owned a thriving beauty business. She lived independently, surrounded by friends, with financial stability and confidence. She often said she didn't need a man but wanted one. She had loved before and had even lived in Turkey with a previous partner. When that relationship ended, she returned to the United States and focused on her career. Love was no longer her priority. Then she met Sarper, a 43-year-old personal trainer and model from Istanbul. He openly admitted to having been with thousands of women. Despite this, he claimed Shekinah was different and that she was the one. Their connection grew quickly online. Sarper was confident, intense, and dominant. For Shekinah, he felt exciting and different from the men she knew in Los Angeles. Even though her friends and family warned her about the red flags, she chose to take a risk. She put her business on hold and moved to Turkey to be with him. Once there, reality set in quickly. Sarper's dominant personality turned into control. He told her how to dress, how to do her makeup, and how she should present herself. He wanted her to look natural and elegant by his standards. He even insisted on rules about her social media and installed a tracking app on her phone, saying it was for her safety. The control extended into every part of her daily life. He expected her to follow his routine and be available to him at all times. The stress was visible. Viewers saw her independence slowly slipping away, replaced by frustration and confusion. There was also the constant shadow of his past. Sarper refused to post her publicly on social media because of jealousy from former partners. While he wanted her to fully adapt to his world, he didn't fully include her in it. Still, there were moments of real affection. When Sarper wasn't controlling, he was loving and attentive. He called her his queen and spoke about building a future together. Their relationship was intense, full of conflict and passion. They broke up, reconciled, and chose to stay together after the show ended. On social media, they appeared united. But behind the scenes, the stress never truly disappeared. Then came the day everything changed. That morning started like any other in their apartment in Istanbul. Around 9 a.m., Sarper had already finished his workout. Shekinah was working on her laptop, managing her U.S. business remotely. They had breakfast together. There were no arguments. Everything seemed normal. Around 10:30 a.m., Shekinah complained of a sharp pain in her upper back between her shoulder blades. She thought it might be a muscle strain. Sarper offered to massage it later. Soon after, she felt overwhelming fatigue. They assumed it was stress or lingering jet lag. Not long after, she became nauseous and lightheaded. She went to the bathroom to splash water on her face. When she came out, Sarper noticed she was pale and clammy. He asked if she was okay. She tried to answer, but her speech was slurred. She gestured toward her chest and struggled to breathe. Then the chest pain hit, crushing and intense, spreading down her left arm. In the ambulance later, she described it as feeling like an elephant sitting on her chest. Shekinah collapsed. Sarper rushed to her side. She was barely breathing and unresponsive. He checked her pulse. It was weak. Realizing this was life or death, he called emergency services, his hands shaking as he begged them to hurry. While waiting for paramedics, he performed CPR, desperately trying to keep her alive. Those moments, pressing on her chest and praying she would breathe, may stay with him forever. When paramedics arrived, they moved quickly. They connected her to medical equipment, confirmed it was a major heart attack, and rushed her to the hospital. Sarper followed, stunned and silent, holding her belongings as their home was left behind in chaos. Now, Shekinah lies in critical condition as doctors fight to save her life. Sarper remains by her side, facing a reality he never imagined. One where control means nothing and love is measured in moments of hope and fear. Sarper watched the numbers on the heart monitor, his own heart pounding in his throat. He kept whispering her name over and over, begging her to stay with him. The ambulance arrived at Acıbadem Hospital in Istanbul, one of the city's top medical facilities. Shekinah was rushed straight into the emergency room, and then immediately into the cardiac catheterization lab, a specialized operating room for heart procedures. Sarper was left behind in the waiting area, surrounded by sterile white walls that felt like they were closing in on him. For hours, he sat in silence. The man who was always confident and commanding was now just another terrified loved one, powerless and waiting. He had no control, no answers, only fear. Doctors performed an emergency coronary angiography, a procedure where dye is injected into the heart's arteries to locate the blockage that caused the heart attack. What they found was severe. There was a major blockage in her left anterior descending artery, commonly known as the widowmaker, because blockages there are often fatal. The medical team performed an angioplasty, using a balloon to open the artery and placing a stent to keep it open and restore blood flow. Technically, the procedure was successful. The artery was reopened, but the damage had already occurred. The heart is a muscle, and when it is deprived of oxygen, the tissue begins to die. Even though paramedics and doctors acted quickly, a significant portion of Shekinah's heart muscle had been damaged. Her heart was now dangerously weak. After the procedure, the lead cardiologist spoke with Sarper. The news was grim. They had saved her from immediate death, but her condition was extremely unstable. The doctor explained that the heart attack had been very serious, that the muscle damage was extensive, and that the next 24 to 48 hours were critical. She was placed in the ICU and was at high risk for cardiac arrest or other complications. Sarper was told to prepare himself. She was not out of danger. Those words hit him like a punch to the chest. When he was finally allowed to see her in the ICU, he broke down. Shekinah, once vibrant and full of life, lay motionless in the hospital bed. Tubes and wires covered her body, connecting her to machines that were keeping her alive. A ventilator breathed for her. For lines delivered medication to support her blood pressure, prevent clots, and stabilize her heart. The room was filled with the steady beep of monitors and the mechanical sound of the ventilator. Nothing else. A source who spoke to Sarper described him as completely unrecognizable. The confidence and arrogance seen on television were gone, replaced by raw despair. He stood by her bedside for hours, holding her hand, speaking to her even though she was sedated and unresponsive. He begged her to fight. He apologized. He told her none of the control or arguments mattered. He said she was everything to him and that he couldn't imagine life without her. He told her he loved her and needed her to stay. In that quiet hospital room, everything else disappeared. The power struggles, the criticism, the cameras, and the public judgment no longer mattered. There was only fear, love, and regret. He realized he never wanted to change her. He just wanted her back. He wanted to hear her laugh again, to argue about small things, to simply have her there. Sarper has not left the hospital. He sleeps in a chair in the waiting room and only leaves her side when nurses insist. His entire world has shrunk to the ICU and the sound of a machine confirming she is still alive. Now, many are asking how this could happen. How could a 42-year-old woman who was health conscious, active, and a non-smoker suffer such a massive heart attack? While her medical records are private, cardiologists say heart attacks in younger women do happen and often have different causes. One possibility is a condition called spontaneous coronary artery dissection, or SCAD, which is a tear in the artery wall. It is more common in women and can be triggered by extreme emotional or physical stress. Another possibility is Takotsubo cardiomyopathy, often called broken heart syndrome. This condition is caused by severe emotional or physical stress. A sudden surge of stress hormones can temporarily weaken the heart, making it behave like a heart attack. This condition is far more common in women. While nothing is confirmed, it is impossible to ignore the intense pressure Shekinah has lived under. She left her entire life behind, moved to a new country, navigated cultural differences, and lived under constant emotional stress in a highly public relationship broadcast to millions. Whether that stress played a role may never be known. But for Sarper, sitting beside her hospital bed, the possibility is devastating. The thought that his behavior or their relationship may have contributed to her condition is a burden he may carry forever. As news began to spread online, the 90-day Fiancé community reacted quickly. Fellow cast members shared messages of love, prayers, and support. Fans flooded social media with encouragement and hope for her recovery. At the same time, speculation and blame also appeared. Some questioned the stress she was under. Others accused Sarper directly. A small group doubted the situation entirely. Sarper has remained silent. His social media accounts have gone dark. He is focused only on Shekinah, isolated from the noise and judgment outside the hospital walls. When and if he speaks, he will face not only his personal trauma, but a public already forming opinions. For now, everything is paused. The story remains unfinished. All that exists is a hospital room, a fragile heartbeat, and a man waiting, hoping the woman he loves survives, inside the ICU. Time has lost all meaning. Minutes stretch into hours, and hours blur together. Sarper measures his days not by the clock, but by the updates from nurses and the slight movements of the machines beside Shekinah's bed. Every beep, every number on the monitor feels like a verdict on her fate. Doctors are cautious with their words. They explain that her heart is under extreme stress and that even small changes could mean everything. Her blood pressure must be carefully controlled. Her oxygen levels are monitored constantly. Any sign of irregular rhythm sends staff rushing to her bedside. Sarper watches it all, helpless, afraid to blink. Family members from the United States have been notified. Phone calls are made across time zones, filled with fear, tears, and disbelief. Some are trying to arrange emergency travel to Turkey. Others can only wait by their phones, praying for good news. The distance makes the pain worse. Everyone feels powerless. Sarper speaks to her every day. He tells her about small things, hoping his voice reaches her somewhere beyond the sedation. He reminds her of their plans, the trips they talked about, the simple moments they never finished living. He tells her she is strong. He tells her she is loved. He tells her she needs to come back. The doctors explain that even if she survives the immediate danger, the road ahead will be long and uncertain. Recovery from a heart attack of this magnitude is not simple. There may be permanent damage. There may be lifelong medication. There may be limits to what her body can do again. Nothing is guaranteed. Sarper listens, nodding, but his mind struggles to absorb the reality. Just days ago, they were arguing about everyday things. Now he's being asked to imagine a future that may look nothing like the one they planned, or worse, a future without her at all. At night, when the ICU quiets down, the fear becomes louder. Sarper sits alone, replaying every moment of their relationship, every argument, every time he pushed too hard, every moment he chose control over compromise. Regret settles heavily on his chest. He wonders if he missed signs, if she complained of pain before, if stress wore her down slowly, silently. These questions have no answers, but they haunt him all the same. Doctors continue to monitor for complications, infection, organ failure, another cardiac event. Each hour she remains stable is considered a small victory. Each setback is devastating. The medical team prepares for every possibility, but they make no promises. Outside the hospital, the world keeps moving, unaware of the quiet crisis happening behind those walls. Cars pass. People laugh. Life goes on. For Sarper, everything has stopped. Support continues to pour in online. Fans light virtual candles. Messages of hope arrive from all over the world. Some people share their own stories of surviving heart attacks. Others simply say they are praying. Sarper does not read most of it. He cannot bring himself to engage. His focus is entirely on the woman in that bed. The doctors eventually begin reducing her sedation slightly, testing her body's response. It is a delicate process. They watch closely for signs of distress. Sarper holds his breath every time her fingers twitch or her breathing changes. There are moments of hope, a small movement, a slight response, and then moments of crushing fear when alarms sound and staff rush in. Each time, Sarper is asked to step out, pacing the hallway until someone finally speaks to him. He has aged in days. The strain shows on his face. The man once obsessed with perfection now looks worn down, stripped of everything but love and fear. He begins to understand something he never fully grasped before. Control does not protect you. Strength does not prevent loss. Love is fragile, and life can change in an instant. Doctors explain that emotional support matters, even when patients are unconscious. They encourage him to keep talking to her, to keep holding her hand, to keep believing. So he does. He tells her she can take all the time she needs, but she must not give up. He tells her the world is better with her in it. He tells her he will change, that things will be different, that nothing else matters. Days pass. The hospital becomes his entire universe. Nurses know him by name. Doctors recognize him instantly. He lives on coffee and exhaustion. He refuses to leave, afraid something will happen if he is not there. The uncertainty is unbearable. No one can say for sure how this will end. Every case is different. Every body responds differently. Hope and fear exist side by side. For now, Shekinah remains in critical condition. She is alive but fragile. Her heart is fighting. Her body is fighting. And everyone who loves her is fighting with her. Whether she will wake up, recover, or face lasting consequences remains unknown. What is certain is that this moment has changed everything. For Sarper, nothing will ever be the same. Whatever the outcome, the man who leaves this hospital will not be the man who entered it. Control, pride, and image have lost all meaning. Only love remains. And so the waiting continues. Inside a quiet ICU in Istanbul, surrounded by machines and whispered prayers, a woman fights for her life, and a man waits, hoping that love will be enough to bring her back. They say her clothing, behavior, and even the way she speaks now appear shaped by Adnan's expectations rather than her own desires. This change has led to intense debate online. Some fans argue that relationships naturally change people, especially marriages that blend different cultures and belief systems. They believe Tiger Lee made her choices willingly and should be respected for adapting to her husband's lifestyle. Others strongly disagree, saying the changes feel rushed, extreme, and one-sided. A major source of concern for viewers is the power dynamic in the relationship. Many fans feel that Adnan often dominates conversations and decisions. They say he appears dismissive when Tiger Lee expresses discomfort or uncertainty. This perception has caused viewers to worry that she may not feel fully free to be herself. The situation became even more sensitive after Tiger Lee gave birth to their child. Fans noticed that her transformation seemed to accelerate after becoming a mother. She became more withdrawn on screen, less expressive, and more compliant with Adnan's wishes. This led to speculation about whether she feels pressured to meet expectations rather than supported as an equal partner. Online discussions have also focused on Adnan's behavior toward others. Viewers recall moments where he spoke harshly to fellow cast members or appeared unwilling to compromise. These interactions reinforce the belief among fans that his personality plays a major role in the tension surrounding the couple. At the same time, there are fans who defend both Tiger Lee and Adnan. They argue that reality television edits scenes to heighten drama and that viewers do not see the full picture of their lives. They believe it is unfair to judge a marriage based on limited footage and social media clips. According to these supporters, Tiger Lee is an adult capable of making her own decisions, and assuming she is being controlled removes her agency. Still, criticism has continued to intensify. Some viewers feel especially uncomfortable with how openly people insult Tiger Lee online. Veronica has said that seeing Chloe's excitement reassures her that their family is expanding in the healthiest way possible. As the due date gets closer, conversations about birth plans and parenting styles have become more real. Veronica has shared that she's realistic about the challenges ahead. She knows twin newborns will be exhausting, unpredictable, and overwhelming at times. But she also knows she won't be doing it alone. Between Seth, Chloe, her mom, and professional help, she feels supported in a way she never has before. Fans have noticed a visible shift in Veronica's energy. She seems calmer, softer, and more content. Even her interactions online feel more intentional. Instead of reacting to negativity, she focuses on gratitude and positivity. Many followers have commented that this version of Veronica feels like her most authentic yet. There has also been speculation about whether wedding bells are in the future. While Veronica hasn't